if we are sexually attracted to someone and we're in a committed, healthy relationship and both people are consenting, why not just have sex? Why not just fool around or whatever you want to do, right? If that's natural desire and we want to connect with that person in that way, why not just go for it, right? Isn't this a way to bond with that person? Isn't this a way to get to know them better and be more intimate with them and grow the relationship? All super valid questions, and those are things that are really worth thinking through, right? Because like I said, we are humans with sexual desire, we are sexual beings, and that is a good, normal, healthy thing. And so for you to be in a relationship with someone and be really sexually attracted to them, that's a good thing, okay? It's not something to be ashamed of or something to push aside. If you are in a relationship with someone, it's normal to be physically attracted to them. You should be physically attracted to them. And it's a good sign that you are sexually attracted to them, okay? But I think one of the biggest things, if we are Christians who are dating with the intention of finding someone to marry, I think that having good physical boundaries is a really great way to honor your partner, okay? It is essentially saying, I am going to put aside my desires and my needs and what I really want physically, sexually, emotionally, to honor this other person and to honor God. It's saying, I really want to have sex with this person, but I know that God has designed sex in the covenant of marriage. He has designed it to be a way for husband and wife to bond and become one flesh, and that outside of marriage it is dangerous and it's not honoring to God or to me or to my partner. And so it's a way to say, hey, I have these fleshly desires that are normal and good, but I want to steward them well and honor you by putting aside something that I really want, because I see a higher purpose. I see the purpose of honoring God and the fulfillment that comes with that as something worth pursuing more than my sexual desires. And that is not easy, but I think it's so important. All right, so why even set physical boundaries? Let's start off with the idea of what is a boundary to begin with. We talk about boundaries a lot right now, right? It's kind of a buzzword in the therapy world, social media, the self-care space, all of that. And essentially a boundary is something that defines a space, right? It says, this is mine and that is yours. This is my house, this is my land, this is my money. Things that define what is mine, what is something that I own versus something that you own and that you're in charge of. So when I think it comes to the physical space of dating, physical boundaries are saying, what is my body and what is your body? What is mine to steward and what is yours to steward? Where do we draw the line of how interconnected that we're becoming? Usually we set boundaries around things that are important to us, right? Like our time, our possessions, the people that we interact with, our relationships, because boundaries protect things, right? They're there to have guardrails around what's important to us. You know, it's important to manage your time well. Who are you going to see? Who are you going to spend time with? So I'm going to have a boundary around how much time I give to social media, around how much time I interact with this person or my parents or people like that, because it protects something that's precious. I think the same thing goes with our bodies. Our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit. They are God-breathed, God-designed. They are honoring to God, and they are beautiful, beautiful creations. And so we need to respect and honor our own bodies and have boundaries around what we do with our bodies. And that includes what we do with them sexually in intimate relationships. And so if we think about boundaries in that way, okay, I am setting physical boundaries to guardrail and protect something that is precious and to protect something that is good and created by God, that He loves and wants to be used in a way that is most honoring to ourselves, our partner, and to God. And I think that perspective shift is absolutely huge. I think even more practically, a reason to set physical boundaries is practice. It is good practice for marriage, because when you're married and if you've waited to have sex and you're having sex for the first time, if you're having sex for the first time with that person, you're not going to be able to have sex whenever you want. Ask any married couple, you aren't just having sex all the time. And so you have to be able to say no and have patience and boundaries, even when you're married. And like I've said many times, I'm very single. I've never been married before, but I do know that in marriage, you don't have this freedom to do whatever you want with the other person's body all the time. It's just not practical, right? Like when you have kids and you're working and you're taking care of a home, like you have whole lives outside of your sex lives. And so it's not something that you just get to do all the time whenever you want. And so even if you have that desire in marriage, and in marriage we are supposed to be sexually intimate with our partners, you still have to put aside those desires sometimes of like, I really want to have sex, but we're gonna have to wait a couple days or wait a couple hours or whatever it is because of just practical reasons. And so I think that's a very, very good, like very reasonable reason to have physical boundaries in dating. And also it's good practice for saying no and delaying gratification in other areas as well, because it trains you to say, I have these desires that might be very good and normal, but I'm gonna put them aside for something else in the moment and to honor the person that I'm with. And this can be applied to so many other areas of life. Like say you really wanna buy something. Maybe you are a newlywed couple and you really wanna buy a puppy. And say I'm, you know, a new wife and I wanna buy a puppy, but my husband and I can't afford that right now. And we're, you know, say trying to buy a house or save up or do whatever. For me to put aside my desire for a puppy is a way of honoring our marriage and honoring our financial stability and honoring my husband and honoring God who blesses us. And it's a silly example, but I really think that that practice of dating someone and saying, okay, I'm not gonna have sex with this person. I'm not gonna push boundaries. I'm not gonna try to get what I want physically because I am honoring my own body. I'm honoring the Lord and I'm honoring my partner. And that, again, is such good practice for delaying gratification in marriage. And to end this discussion on why even set physical boundaries, I just think really honing back to what I said at the beginning of we are putting aside something that is good and that we really want, and it's a normal desire for something better. And it doesn't feel like something better in the moment. I know, I've been in romantic relationships. It is very, very difficult to put aside those physical desires because they're normal, and it's normal to want to connect with that person sexually. But to put aside those desires in a dating relationship is so honoring and so kind and trains you in patience and goodness and all the fruits of the Holy Spirit. And I really, really do believe that when we wait and have good boundaries and wait to have sex until we're married, it is going to be so beautiful and so honoring to the Lord and honoring to our new spouse and to ourselves. And it's just going to be an incredibly safe, beautiful experience. And so let's head over to the next video.